Hello everyone, thank you for joining us. I thought I'd just wait until Jim, our operator's come back, who's our composer. So thank you all very much for coming today. This is a very exciting day for us all. This is a project that has been about a year in the making. To give some background on how it started, I used to work for a professional gambler, so I put bets on for him, football bets on for him in a bookmakers. And I noticed that there was this little community going on in there, sort of, you know, almost what many people might refer to as like the romantic idea of the betting shop, where there's like the old boys sat around with their newspapers, they put a few bets on. It seems to be secondary to the social occasion of going to the betting shop. I thought maybe there was something to write about there. But then I noticed there were these other things, these machines, which you can sort of see on this background here, they're a bit unclear. And I didn't know what they were, but it looked like people were losing a lot of money on them. A guy about 3 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon, middle of the week, he seemed to be getting really angry at this machine. Sorry, thank you. He seemed to be getting really angry at this machine, and he lost a lot of money. And I was like, I wonder how much he's lost, a couple £100. His mate came over and said, mate, how much have you lost? He said, £1,400. I was like, you know, on a Tuesday afternoon, this guy didn't look like he could lose £1,400. And he went, mate, you're going to stop? He went, nah, put in another 300. And I thought, what's going on here? So I sort of looked up online, and there's loads of campaigns, news media pieces, and yeah, I hadn't heard of these things. They're called fixed odds betting terminals. They are like casino gaming machines, which you find in every single bookmakers that you see on the high street: Corals, Paddy Powers, Ladbrokes. Every one of those has 4 in these machines in there. And on the roulette on there, which is the most popular game, you can spend £100 every 20 seconds. Every spin you can put £100 on. So you can lose a lot of money very quickly. And so I investigated this a bit more online, and I kind of met some people. I met a guy called Matt, who is running the campaign for Fairer Gambling, and he introduced me to Tony and Eugene, who are 2 campaigners against the FOBTs, to reduce the stake from £100 to £2 is the current campaign being run by the Campaign for Fairer Gambling, and there was an inquiry that went into that in Parliament recently. So from there I've interviewed a lot of people, and the idea was I've interviewed a lot of people and cut it together to like a stage documentary. Lots of different voices from all different parts. I went to a parliamentary inquiry, I've spoken to gambling addicts, ex-gambling addicts, people who have never played on these things before. Who else? Staff in the betting shop. I met the CEO of the Association of British Bookmakers, one of the only voices from the industry who are here from today, because they're very reluctant to speak to people about it. They're making a lot of money. And today is the culmination of a script that's been put together for the last year. And the wonderful Nicholas, Hal Chambers, as he's really called, has helped us put together a wonderful, wonderful team, which we'll introduce here. We have Jim, our composer, who's come on, has some really great music to it. He's got some ideas to show you later on. We have Will Coleman. We have Monica Nash helping us out. We have Scott Ainsley. We have Itoya Ozagir. And we have David, also a photographer today. We also have missing today Joe Walker, who's our sound designer, and Max Johns, who is our stage designer, who is here today. I do apologise. Last but most certainly not least. So thank you. Hand over to Hal.
Yes, of course. I love your moving director.
I love the moving director also isn't here today. I'm so sorry to Gareth Taylor, who has actually helped us out massively.
So this is the culmination of just under 2 weeks' work. We spent the first week trying to work out what the hell this is, because it's a new ground really, and it's of course an evolving story. So we're trying to find the best dramatic thrust to it. And in the last few days, we've been honing what you're going to see now, which is it's kind of like a menu of the kind of things that you would get if we were to bring this to full production. You'll see a few scenes, and then we will pass it to Jim, who's going to talk about the musical world that potentially could be created here, and we're going to show you a kind of little routine that we've created that hopefully might amuse you, a little taster of what the music world could be. And then we're going to show you some more scenes, and then Max, our designer, is going to show you some mood boards and a little mock-up of what the stage design might be, potentially, some of the first responses. And then we're going to open it up to Q&A, which is going to involve Pat and I, and who else?
And we're going to have 2 of the guys, 2 of the voices from the piece, Tony Franklin and Eugene Farrar, who you hear from as the piece unfolds.
And it'll be chaired by Daniel Perks, journalist over here. So that's the sort of menu. I had to do my Henry V piece, sort of the chorus from the beginning. So please imagine that these two blocks together is an FOBT today. It will be played in various forms, so you'll see that. Some of the stuff that we're going to show is sort of nearer to a fully rehearsed piece. Some of it is script in hands. Some of it, they're wearing headphones. Don't worry, they're not listening to Dr. Dre. They are listening to the live verbatim that's recorded when it was live, verbatim through, and they will be speaking live. Of course, this is interesting. We're not trying to just mimic what we're hearing. We're trying to find a new way of bringing it directly to people. Okay, so we try to find innovative ways of connecting it with you directly. So there'll be some of that, some in script, and it really is to do with the demands of the scene. One of the scenes is so rapid that we tried it in here and it was completely impossible. So yeah, and some bits are movement based. So you'll see. Anything else I need to say? I'm looking at this is my to-do list on Elaborix. Seems appropriate. Yes, and perhaps we can just introduce who's playing who. So perhaps
I'm playing Lee, who's Wendy's husband. I'm playing Lord Donahue and Peter Bottomley.
I'm playing Wendy Bandel and Karen Harris, who is an MP, and also Chloe, who works in a booking shop, in a bookies.
I'll be playing Eugene and a couple of other characters.
I'm playing Tony, and I'm playing Malcolm George, the CEO of the Association of British Bookmakers, and I'm also playing a character called George.
I am playing Daniel, also James from Bedford, and Steve Donahue.
So, okay, well, I don't think there's much else to say, so that says you can take your places. Three, 2, 1, lights.
Place your bets, please.
Okay. Well, I'm the Eugene Farrer, if we could call it a gambling career, stemming from my early teens.
Hi, I'm Tony. I've been a gambling addict since my very early teens, and I've gambled on most electronic gambling machines.
Gambling is a one-man game, a one-person sport. You know, and it's the way it works is it's so individual. You think it's completely unique to you.
It's just fun.
I've had 6 months where I never seem to lose. It's like the machine's become your best friend.
So I would come to the town centre and be like,
Roulette. One day your best mate will turn round to you and go, hey, what with me in the bookies? So you go down there with him, you do a couple of reverse forecasts with a dog. You might have won that day. So you get a taste for it. Then after that, you'll probably be a gambler the rest of your life.
Skip it out, innit? Just let it roll.
come on man, please. Come on, please man, 34 man.
That would have been frantic quick, man. Fuck.
Come on man. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Games, features, all those sorts of things are drivers. But all the time, excitement and urge.
Easy money? Yeah, I don't know. Just the buzz.
Yes! 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 Ah! I've seen all sorts of people in here. I've seen people lose their nut in here.
This is my favourite number. Ring back for 29. It does, it often comes back round.
Try again.
Wow, yeah, bingo. Playing these, it's an interesting, exciting game. I like it.
I reckon it's going to come back in. 29. I reckon it's going to be 29.
Fucking hell. Go!
You want to find the armpit of a lot of the area, go down to betting shops. And the characters are there.
You see your little mongrel? Go on, stretch over there. Stretch over there, you mongrel. Come.
This is it. It is. Go on.
This is just even a fucking dust. I mean, I'm on one now. I'm like, come on!
Give me 20 bro. 2020, 2020. Fuck! Never, bro. None. All these money, bro. All these money keep fucking eating and eating, bro. Fuck's sake, man. Fuck. Scum.
It's starting to annoy me because gamblers, I know it's an addiction, but if you're on the other side of that, it can be really bloody annoying, as you can imagine. And I've been on this awareness site, and I just got sick of seeing them saying, "Oh, I've gambled another month's wages," and they're all saying, "Oh, that's okay, next month, try again next month." And I was like, you know what? No, this is ridiculous. I was like, here's the hard facts about what you're doing. You're gambling your month's wages in 20 minutes. Your kids aren't going to eat. Your wife is going to be distraught. Your house could be taken away. Your car will be lifted. You will not have a job, and your kids will go to school in rags because you're gambling that money. So take a good hard look at yourselves, and here's reality. You die. You'll die. So you've got to be hard. You've got to... There's hard facts. So but Lee did gamble. I had no idea what a FOBT was until Matt actually explained it to me. We'd come into a pub or restaurant and he would straight on to the machine thing, the bandits. And I hated them because I always think they're tinky and I get annoyed because he'd go on them. So when he tried to commit suicide in February and said to me, "It's the machines," and I was like, what? To lose £1,000, you must have been there for like 17 hours, just stand there putting 50p's in. Because I don't know, I've never gambled. I don't understand it.
So I think it was one day I signed on to Party Poker. I think I might have been 15, 16, something like that. And I think I missed school that day as well. I might have won like $40, £40.
But, you know, I did $4 in a night sometimes, and it was enough to really, really cause massive problems. You know, it's a lot of money, isn't it? And it's difficult, you know, it's easy to lose sight of $4 being a lot of money when you're speaking to people who have 30, 40 grand in a night. But it's how it impacts upon you at the time, where the damage is.
And you know, because it happens so quickly, because it's free money, you lose the value of money. Yeah? You're not doing anything for that money. You're just fucking around at a stupid fucking display screen.
I'd lose the £40 in about 10 minutes or whatever. You know, this is the reason why I don't play roulette. You know, but that's alright. And then I'll start taking out payday loans, and then use it to get the money back, and then come back, play the roulette, lose that again.
One night, I went to Leeds. I was working, and I came out of work, went to the cash machine, and I lost some money on the way there. I went to work at a meeting in Leeds, came back, pulled some money out of the cash machine, went into Leeds railway station, won it all back and more. Came out with that £1,400. Got in the car, drove towards Harrogate, didn't make it that far, went into a betting shop, lost it all very quickly. Got some more money out of the bank, that was it, couldn't get any more. Didn't want to wait till I got home. So I started playing on my phone in the car outside the betting shop. You know, got home, you gamble online, you become devious, you become calculated, and in the core idea that is one incredibly strong hold that something's got on you. That you will gamble money that you know. You know what I mean? I've borrowed money from check cashing agencies, Wonga loans, all that, but you still gamble that money. And it gets to the stage where you are literally just gambling to pay interest. Can't continue.
One day, my brother came home and he said, you know, I was speaking to somebody at work, and this guy was telling you know, how he lost his mortgage, just fucking spent all his money. That guy, he's got what you got. Because he was telling me how he doesn't do anything, he just stays up at night. All the kind of symptoms that I didn't realize I was doing, that other people know, you know, like you got like a shit life, innit? Like you have this job, you know, you don't have a car, you know, you don't have nothing to show for this job, you know, well-paying job, you know. I knew, it's like I knew, innit? It's like, I knew.
Every time you gamble, there is a huge emotional cost, as well as, of course, the financial cost. And a lot of people I've seen feel very miserable because the hopelessness. They feel helpless and hopeless and helpless. And that ultimately is what drives people to suicide.
Bright lights, flashing lights, everything all that suits me really. How can I ask for any more? It's not real money. No, I'm not allowed to play with real money here. I'll get fired. Probably arrested. Fucking hate gambling. Just do it to pass the time.
Alright, Ben, let me show you how to play this, yeah?
Oh, no one was looking.
Oh, come on, Ben, I'm gonna give him my logic on how to play this game. Yeah?
What, red and black?
No, watch. No, watch it. Just give me the 12 here. It's called that diagonal spin. I divide it into crosses and diagonals.
Oh, here it goes.
So now I've got 12.
Bill Nye, the science
I'm not
guy.
interested still. Now imagine it's got red. I'm not interested still. It's playing red. It still thinks I'm playing red. It's going to give me a black number. Now it's going to give me a black number.
Nah,
And it's going to go here.
it's not.
You watch, it's going to go here.
It's not.
7 8 is going to go here.
Nah, it's not.
You watch. You watching, yeah?
I'm watching. Oh, no, watch you lose, boy.
Alright, watch. You are watching my powers, yeah?
You need to win off this spin to prove you got any power, boy.
Don't worry, mate. Don't worry, mate. Let me go back to this poor bit of money there. I'm pretty sure it's gonna block. You watching? You watching my magic?
0.
What did that say? Oh, hold on. Bruv, hold on.
You cover like
That 17 was meant to come. It's just bumping. Hold on. Watch.
Yeah.
We're still in the game. Watch. Alright, watch.
19.
Okay, black number.
131.
It went opposite the 17 there, right? It's trying to avoid it. Don't worry.
James, you're full of shit, mate.
Don't worry, guys. Don't watch. It's not over.
Yeah.
You watching, yeah? Hey, hold on. Ben.
What are you doing to yourself?
I had £3
What
on
are you doing to
35.
yourself?
I had £3 on 35, yeah?
What are you
I
doing
want
to yourself?
12. And you see what I'm saying here? If it doesn't want to pay you, it won't pay you. You know, just bought me, right? I have tears in my eyes. I'm being serious.
You realise you're insinuating artificial intelligence, something that is far beyond the capability of our generation.
Did you not see how we just hooked up to the 12? Yeah? I'm not having it. We're gonna start that again, man.
Why do I fucking do it when I know that it will not give me one pay? I know it in my heart and in my fucking brain, but I still play. I put my foot in here, not in here, but anywhere you go. Never once! Never! I pray they poison the fucking babies when they give them the bread. When you give them the bread in the morning, pray you can hear me one fucking dance from above. If you can hear me. If they can feed their children like this.
Well, we're here today at Westminster, just across the road, and we're going to try to attempt to get an entry to representatives of the betting industry, in particular the Association of British Bookmakers, and an all-party gambling group, and we see this as an attempt by the industry
to assert and advance their claim that petty shops are the safest place to gamble. We've been denied an invitation, and we're going to try to gain access anyway. I am actually going to refuse to leave. I tell you that now. I mean, I'm actually going to refuse to leave. I'm not having this. I mean, I haven't come all the way from fucking York to be fucked up by a bunch of shysters.
Gambling addict?
Yes.
You haven't got an invitation.
As a gambling addict, I'd like to sit in.
Fred Dodds, no invitation, no.
Seriously?
Seriously, it's the
Sorry,
rules.
sir, may I just-
I'm sorry.
Do you think does that not strike you as
No
unconscionable?
invitation.
You
no.
don't want to hear what we've got to say?
No, not at all.
I'm sure some of the MPs
Sorry.
might like to hear.
Sorry.
But I'm a gambling addict. I'm
Sorry.
here because,
Gentlemen.
as people who have been harmed by this industry, we feel we have a right to have our voices heard.
It is unconscionable.
Can
It
we
is
have
unconscionable.
security,
Our
please?
voices being
No.
heard.
Can we have security, please?
Can we ask the members? Do you want to hear from some
Can we
gambling
have
addicts?
security,
Would
please?
you like to hear from some former problem gamblers? Would you?
Can we have security?
Do you really think we should be excluded? Do you?
Can we have
Is
security?
there not one single member of parliament that wants to hear from some former problem
Can
gamblers?
we get security?
Is there?
We're not invited.
Sorry, sir, can we talk about this in private, please?
Well, I can't let them in.
Is there not one single member in there who wants to hear from some problem and former
Sorry, this is not
problem
the place
gamblers?
for it.
This is exactly the place, my friend. This is an unconscionable stand. It is a disgrace if we are not allowed to
It's a
come in
private
and
meeting.
respectfully put our view to this
I
meeting.
am a member of Parliament,
Right.
and I have great sympathy with you, but you've got to handle it in a sensible way.
And you haven't got an
You're not
invitation.
invited to this
Transparency.
meeting. Go
Yeah,
to member of the
transparency.
constituency MP. This is not the place to get.
This is the proper
This
place,
is the
my
House of
friend.
Parliament.
This is lobbying. Steve Donahue.
It is a proper business. It is a proper. It cannot be deemed proper business if we aren't allowed to observe and participate. You know that. Come on, you've got to know that. You've got to know that.
Can I just ask you a favour?
No, sorry, no, I disagree. I disagree, sir. I disagree.
Sorry, sir.
What is your constituency?
I sit in the Lords.
Can
Well,
you stop filming, please? We're not
I'm afraid that this meeting is just an affront to any notion of a transparent government, and if you
It's
think
a
you can
disgrace.
claim to achieve anything constructive
There is
today,
no
well,
possibility of
it's
constructive
an absolute
discussion. You
disgrace.
keep interrupting people and shouting over
It's an
them.
open door. Sorry, this is a public
This is
area.
not a
No,
public
it's the
area.
House of Commons.
You don't have a right to be in here.
Well, who elected you?
We have
Who
elected
elected
you
you?
here, sorry.
It's a
Who elected you?
Yeah, member of the House of Lords. Who elected you, eh?
Gentlemen, do you have an invitation to this event?
We don't, no.
Okay, well, I'm really sorry, but it's by invitation only, and I'm sorry if the gentleman who's organising this event,
Which is me.
which is this gentleman here, and I'm the caterer, and I look after, and I have to consider the well-being of my colleagues
Yeah.
and the rest of the people here. Can I ask you, please, and gentlemen?
We have no bond with you, absolutely.
That's great. Would you mind just going upstairs to the?
I'm afraid I can't do that. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Get him arrested.
I can't. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, sir. I must need politely to move upstairs.
And I accept that, but I'm politely declining because I have no one to represent me but myself. That's all.
Okay, well, I have to take my next opportunity, and I don't wish to do this, but to summon a security officer.
Gentlemen,
guys,
come on, let's
can
go,
you go
let's
with
go.
this gentleman?
Will you allow one person to come in and simply observe?
Sir, my jurisdiction ends at.
No, I'm not asking you. I'm asking the
I
organiser.
am the organiser, and you're not invited.
Yes, I know you are,
And
sir.
you're not invited.
On what grounds? What?
Because this is a
Why?
private meeting for industry and parliament.
Oh, you've got to be aware of how that looks. Surely you've got to be aware of how
We
that
have
looks.
members of the press,
And the other guy does four.
and this gentleman here.
Good, so that's our first round of scenes. The first half of the story, we've set up the journey to that scene, which is meeting some of our real people and introducing both sides of the argument. And the second half, we're exploring what happens after that showdown. But we're now going to pass over to Mr. Jim Huston.
Hi. So, yeah, my name's Jim Huston. I'm the composer on this project. In terms of what we're trying to do here is, I suppose, the first couple of pieces of music that you've heard, well, the two main principal music is this idea of trying to create kind of energy and get people to understand the buzz that these gamblers feel. Something that's become very apparent as you go through the material and the verbatim material is that as a gambler, there's this almost a duality. There's this excitement and this buzz that you get when you're playing, and then there's this absolute despair when that adrenaline goes and you realise how much you've just gambled away or how much time you've gambled away. And this is a sort of a recurring theme. So the opening bits, so the idea is to sort of try and recreate that energy and take the sort of the audience on an experience so they're kind of really feeling and understanding sort of like the journey. And I suppose in terms of imagery wise, the first couple of pieces of music, it was almost like if you were a pinball inside a pinball machine and sort of going around and sort of getting battered around and sort of like this incredible journey. So those are the first bits we've done, and the two pieces of music we're kind of, I suppose, almost trying to recreate the sounds that you might find in one of these machines. It's sort of like sort of electronica sounds, and they're sort of slightly more electronic in nature, but sort of trying to capture that. There's some more music coming, and I suppose one of the first things to do is try and sort of tap into the emotions and the characters. I think this one thing that was clear when you read the verbatim, that the characters are there. I mean, George that we sort of saw, he's a real character, and some of the things that he says are just sort of, if you were to write that into a play, it would be highly unbelievable. The very fact that this is based on real people is incredible. So it's using the music to try and tap into the emotions and the characters at the same time, sort of representing these characters, but also kind of the emotional journey that they go on. So the first couple of tracks were kind of, sort of slightly more electronic based. There's other stuff in there which is kind of maybe more organic piano-led stuff. Sort of rhythmically, just sort of trying to keep some kind of rhythm going throughout, but also kind of bringing people in and punctuating emotional moments. This is always quite a hard thing to do, because with anything like this, as you'll see as the story unfolds, there's some very emotive times and there's some real sort of hardship in there, and you want to sort of help people feel that, but without sort of shoehorning it in and saying you must now feel sad. But it's, I suppose, I don't think we're quite there yet. I think we've been exploring lots of different sort of areas of music, different genres, different tones. And it's finding a thread, finding a consistency that runs through those, which sort of ties it all together so that it feels cohesive. But it's just a sort of experimentation. And I suppose when you're doing verbatim, you've got a couple of choices. You can either go down sort of London Road style, where everything is sung. But I think we've sort of deliberately tried to sort of move a little bit further away from that and sort of take it. Interesting thing happens when you sort of listen to sort of verbatim. There is almost a natural rhythm found in what people are saying and the way they're saying it. So the first piece called FOBT Buzz, or FOBT Buzz, all the dialogue there is sort of little snippets of conversations from betting shops that sort of different. Some of them sort of were from the same scene, but from lots of different scenes. And when we kick off again in a minute, we're going down a slightly different avenue here. This is sort of based on the idea that, I don't know if you will have seen gambling adverts. There's thousands of them on. But there's very much sort of something that's pervasive through them all, is this sort of creating a sort of lads mentality, this sort of like glorification of gambling, and it's like it's the guys coming together on Saturday. And yes, there may well be the sort of bad element to it, but it sort of doesn't sort of draw any light on the kind of on sort of the bookies and this sort of quite grey, dismal bookmakers, which is sort of full of misery and despair. So this next piece is sort of slightly more organic. It's sort of going for a slightly more rock angle, and the whole piece is sort of made up of, again, we've taken little snippets of dialogue from all of this, all the little snippets which sort of glorify gambling, or that could be used to glorify gambling, and sort of say how cool it is, and sort of woven that in together in this. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So I'll let these guys carry on.
Head down to bookies, characters are there, getting girls in bikini. Legend! Watch on, stretch on.
He's a legend!
He's strong,
Stretch on.
mentally strong.
On hunger.
Sporting lights on.
Legend!
You watching my magic. Bright lights flash, the game's underway. And just like the dogs, my heart wants to race. My temples swell and my palms want to sweat. 100 on black, 100 on red. I stand on a blink, I can't even think. The click and the clack as my ears start to ring. The horn gets tight, the screams must ring. Stretch on, I win on this spin. Machine becomes your best friend.
You're a winner!
Machine becomes your best friend.
You're a winner!
Machine becomes your best friend.
You're a winner!
You're watching my magic.
They've brought the casino to the high street.
Look around High Street and it's odds on you'll see betting shops hitting the jackpot.
Hello, Patrick. Good to see you. How are you? It's a bit parky in here. I'll just turn that up.
Fixed odds betting machines provide half of all betting shops' profits.
Gambling addiction. A family fights for more regulation in the betting industry after a father's secret habit leads to financial ruin and jail.
So, how are things going on this project?
Fixed odds betting machines.
Terminals like this.
Maximum bet £100. The time between bets 20 seconds.
Okay, so in terms of sort of the ground rules, is it a bit like a pre-recorded media interview? Can I kind of go stop there and discard that and I'll come back?
Critics say it's the speed of play that makes them deadly.
As you can see here, there are several different options.
Since their introduction in 1999, they've become big money spinners.
Would it be okay if I just get somebody to pop a tape in as well? Is that okay with you? It's a very controversial area, so it attracts a lot of media, so it kind of, you'll understand, that caution of...
Whilst betting shops are only allowed to have 4 terminals each, the problem is many towns now have several bookies on their high street.
What all these have in common is you can bet up to £100 every 20 seconds. And for this demonstration, that's what I did.
I'll just do it on my phone if that's alright with you. You know how inevitably we always get a bit nervous. So let me just stick that on there like that.
The industry rejects the idea. They're targeting poor areas.
We'll just do it that way. There we go.
Gambling stakes on electronic terminals could be limited to just £2. And all parliamentary groups say that the lower limit should be introduced to try and curb addiction to fixed odd betting terminals. Bookmakers say that the findings are deeply flawed.
I work at Betfred, the bonus king, as he likes to say. And I have recently just qualified to become an assistant manager at Betfred. That's an extra 30p on top of my wage that I used to get. Woohoo.
Malcolm George, Chief Executive of the Association of British Bookmakers. I represent the high street betting industry, so I don't represent online. And the industry is in decline, contrary to what many people suggest. It employs 50,000 people. It has been around for 50 years. It's a presence on the high street. It pays business rates. So it's a tough industry. But I believe that it remains an important part. You know, you go to towns, these are social facilities and people enjoy them. So
I hate Betfred. He's everywhere. His little face, he looks like a turkey. I literally hate working in this bookies. I do need to find a new job. We're only open for the FLBTs, really and truly. They just send people crazy. Actually crazy.
I believe that 95% of people who are on a property will have a mobile phone in their pockets. They will perfectly be able to go online to play and gamble, very little supervision, potentially through the night, potentially with alcohol, within the range of gambling opportunities. FOBTs sit pretty much in the middle and, you know, are probably one of the safest environments in which they
I would never wish upon anyone to work in bookies and see machines being smashed, TVs being smashed, people shitting in sinks, people fucking pissing, people punching each other up in the shops, even people selling drugs in the shops. Those Chinese people that come in to sell DVDs, they're not supposed to be in there, but they still do it. They see where the CCTV is not, and then they stand there and they're like, DVD, DVD, and you're just like, really? What have you got?
I think there are two types of employee. There tends to be the very long-term employees who love it, and then there are people who use it as a stopgap employment.
Well, it definitely beats working at a Blockbusters and getting piss in DVD cases. So, yeah. Must have been a shit film. I'm glad it wasn't shit.
So there's a whole range of employees. I think the picture you portray is not accurate of the broad cross-section of...
This machine thing is ridiculous. It's epidemic, trust me.
we don't force anybody to come in here. I mean, I've had a lot of people over the years come to me and have a go like, you fuckers, you fucking take all our money, and I'll sit there and I'll laugh when they do that. And I say, did I come into the street, pick you up off the floor, come in here and hold your hand and make you put money in there? No.
I've had a lady who went out onto the shop floor when she was pregnant, and thought someone was going to punch her. She ran away from them and then had a miscarriage because she's put herself into that position that she's going to be shocked, stressed, and then it made her lose a baby. Yeah.
Inevitably, there will be people who feel, and they've experienced that. They are trained, they have security measures.
We've got a panic button. After you press the panic button, 5 minutes later, someone will come on the speaker. 5 minutes. And then they ask for a password. We haven't been trained. We don't know the password. I don't know what it is. They're like, oh, it's something red. And we're like, postbox? And he's like, no, maybe football? Man United? And then we're thinking, no, we live in North London. Arsenal? Why aren't we briefed on these things?
Knowing that there are people who are taking their lives as a result of addiction, do you lose any, sleep on that issue at night?
I think there's potentially it cuts to the core, that question. There has been, since time immemorial, individuals who have been addicted to gambling. The challenge for society is, do we have a structure and a regulation around gambling that encourages and allows those who suffer from addiction to get the sort of help they need? I believe the regulation that sits around shops now is that the money that's paid into gambling charities provides us with the best chance of that. There are tragic cases, but I am not convinced that anyone has ever provided me with an insight into why simply removing Fogarty's would benefit any single person who may or may in the future, sadly, tragically, commit suicide.
He'd been paid that day, and usually the money was transferred straight to my account. I told him I didn't want him to because I wanted him to start taking responsibility. So I said to him, he texts. He drowned me twice, and I missed his calls. He'd send messages saying how much money could be transferred over. And I said, we're doing it tomorrow because we're going to sit and go through what we paid off. And actually, on the Thursday, and I was testing him because I wanted him to keep the money in his account to prove that he could do it for a day. And then he'd gone to GA, I thought. And then he texted me 9:30 saying, I love you, Bendel, which wasn't unusual because when he came out of the meeting, he always texts. Because I think, again, he heard people who were having a terrible time, losing their partners, losing their business, and he was always made him realise he was lucky to have somebody who, did support him. And I came and said, I love you too, Dylan's top of the oven. And I remember he, about 10 to 10, I felt, it sounds ridiculous, but something wasn't sitting with me. And then I kept checking the clock. I was watching Casualty in bed, sad. In fact, no, it was Holby City. And so at 20 to 11, I texted him saying, you're right, are you nearly home? And the message didn't go through. So 11 o'clock, I started panicking. So I rang the police about 11:30, and I said, look, I'm going to sound neurotic, it's only an hour, he's 37, but he tried to commit suicide a few months ago, and I'm just a little bit anxious. So they took it seriously. I kept texting him, I just if you've been gambling, just let me know where you are. You better bloody not have been, but let me know where you are. Nothing. And then police came around about 5 o'clock and said that they traced him to a casino. And he left at 8:25. And I was like, no. He was in, he was at GA. He definitely wasn't at a casino. And so, well, he was. We traced his bank card. So, okay. And I said, right, in that case, he's in a hotel somewhere. I'm going to give him his clothes, take him, don't let him back here. And I texted him and I said, you're dead to me now. Don't come back. I can't deal with it anymore. And then about 7:30, the messages went through to him. So I texted him and I was like, "You're right, you bastard," because I thought he'd then switched his phone on. And I said, "Your stuff's getting chucked at your mother's. That's it. We're over." And then I was driving. To his mother's place. I was going to chuck all his clothes there so he couldn't come home. And then the police rang me and just told me to go home. So I asked why. No, I said, "Is he dead?" And they said, "Oh, you just need to go home." And I asked again, and they said, "You need to go home." And I said, "Is he dead?" And they said, "Yeah." And then, I don't remember, then it's a blur, it's just a blur, and then you've got to go identify the body, and it's very real. But you feel guilt. When someone you love commits suicide, you feel guilt because you feel I should have understood better if I'd listened to the messages more carefully, if I'd managed to read into that message that he was sad that day, if I'd answered the phone, if I'd have been a better partner, if I'd had better understanding of gambling, if I couldn't stop. There's nothing I could do. I did everything I could. I did more than what a lot of people would have. A lot of people would have just, walked away from it, but I would never walk away from Lee.
Oh God, Sopo, why the fucking life you have given me, why? And I said to myself, thousands of times, don't ever put your foot in there. I said it to myself, but I can't do it. What can I do now? I can just jump from there. How long have I been here? What have I come from? What am I doing with my life? How does one end up like this? By dealing with filth. And I fell in with them. I fell in, my Lord. I fell into the fucking filth. Oh, my shepherd, my shepherd, my shepherd. If you only knew how bad it is. I've got to go on, live. I should get a fucking gun and blow my head, just fucking blow it! Stay out of the fucking shit, they are all men, they're all with the fucking hunger. I never dreamed in my fucking life I see hunger like this. At 70 years of age, never dreamed. Oh no, please. Bob, nice seeing you. Good, take care, my friend.
The first 3 months I was going to Gamblers Anonymous, I was just kind of showing up once a week, once every 2 weeks. I really wasn't taking it seriously at all. And it was around my 25th September, that's my birthday, that I broke out. That's what they call it, when you go back to betting. Relapse, you could say. And it was just fucking shit, man.
I've had a couple of relapses recently. One of the last ones was not on a fixed odds betting terminal, it was on a roulette machine in a pub. £70 I lost.
And then it's like you don't want to go back and face people and say that, you know what I mean? Like, this is what I've done. Because you feel like, well, people are going to think you're some dickhead. What the fuck are you doing here this whole time?
The impact of losing that £70 was enormous. I mean, it's the hopelessness again. It's the, I am never going to be able to knock this on the head. And that's very dangerous.
You know, the next day I had £5 left. I can't remember, I'd gone somewhere and come back on the train and I was standing by the ticket machine, and £5 I could go to a meeting, £5 I could, you know, just go make some accumulator bets. You can make an accumulator bets with £5, you know. But I just paid for my train ticket, and that was 2nd of October, and that was the last time I made a bet.
I phoned a friend one day, he lent me £500 and asked him if he could lend me another 500. And he said to me, he says, is it gambling? I says, well, what do you think? You know, went back years and years, he knew it was. And he said, well, look, the money's there if you want it. You know, put it in your account, but why don't you just talk about it? Tell Tracy, my wife, talk about it, get it out in the open, and try and nail it and do something about it. Took the dog for a walk down the lane. No, it wasn't the dog, because we didn't have Dave then. Dave's the dog. Dave's the dog for the day. we had my sister-in-law's dog, and we took her a walk down the lane. And my wife had come back from work. She was incredibly stressed about the day that she'd had. I said, come on, let's take the dog for a walk. Went off down the lane. And I was wired, really on one. And I could tell that she needed to sort of say something, you know. And I says, you know, I got something to tell you. She started crying. She thought I was going to ask her for a divorce or something. What on earth, I don't know. I think it's the only thing that I just, you know, I think the gravity of the thing, and I must have looked pretty brave. And I said, I'm gambling a lot. I'm gambling heavily. I'm gambling heavily, too much and too often. And I want to stop. I need to stop. I can't do it on my own. Those words in whatever order. And she just looked at me, she says, you know, have to do it on your own. And just give me a big hug and a few tears, obviously. And it goes back to that thing of power as well, because something happened. It was electric. It was weird. I mean, you know, in highly charged emotional thing, you know, you feel things, don't you? But on this occasion, when I told my wife, Tracy, it's as though something had left me, and it was almost if you were to describe it as a demon, you could almost say you felt the demon being exorcised from you, gone, you know. And in all honesty, hand on heart, I've never laid a bet since that day.
I'm blessed in that way, you know. It might sound weird, but I'm blessed in that way. But just being through this experience, you know, sitting in those rooms, listening to everyone, you know, from all walks of life, you know, it really speaks to you, the condition of humanity, the essence of human beings, you know, who we are, and that's what I get. I say that word humanity, you know, human being, you know, how we're all the same.
Everything was just how it should be. Everything was just starting to be how it should have been for years. And what was I doing? You know, I was tired. I was drained, physically and emotionally, psychologically drained. You know, and bit by bit, those things that you lose: self-respect, appreciation of, I don't know, a nice garden, you know, appreciation of a nice holiday somewhere, just lying on a beach, smelling that, you know, Mediterranean sort of smell that you get, you know, that you don't get in Evan, those sort of things. You know, you lose those. It ain't about the money. Well, it is, but it's about so much more.
It's just, you know, it's misery money. Because it's taking money that if I lose money now, it's an emotional thing. It's an emotional, it's nothing to do with, it's an emotional response to something going on inside me. And I know that I'm putting the money in there, and it's a dreadful thing to do. It has a direct cost somewhere, you know? I mean, when I lost the money in Corals, that money was the end of my bringing my family over here. That was money set my wife and my son up here. So, when I say misery money, that money, which is peanuts to Corals, a few grand, nothing, that meant a lot to me. And that's sort of money that they're taking off people every single day. Money that people can't afford to lose.
Thank you, Peter. I really do thank you for chatting today. And thank you all of you for joining us today at the launch of this report. I'm going to show it to you because I cannot believe it's in print. It's the culmination of over 6 months' inquiry into the impact of fixed odds betting terminals. For those who don't know me, I'm Carolyn Harris. I'm the Member of Parliament for Swansea East, and it has been an absolute privilege to chair the APPG on fixed odds betting terminals. We established because we, as a group, became extremely concerned of the role that FOBTs, FOBTs as I call them, have had, what effect they've had in our communities. We would have welcomed the input from the bookies into our inquiry, and we were disappointed that they chose not to take part. In my view, they would have been better talking to us than to be slinging insults from the sidelines. I say to the bookies, be afraid, take note. We have discovered the issues and we have cast light on them. So to conclude, I can share that we are in no doubt that a significant reduction in the maximum stake playable on an FOBT is absolutely essential. We genuinely see a case for the stake to be at £2. The bookmakers would have you believe that we are anti-gambling MPs, lords, who would disagree with anything to do with gambling. That is not what we are about. We are against something which is causing huge amount of harm to people's lives and to society. We've got no problem with people gambling. This is purely about the dangerous, addictive, FOBT, FOBTs, I'm going to get that word in the Oxford English Dictionary if it kills me. That is where we come from. So again, I thank you all for coming. I thank you for your attention. I especially thank you for your interest. And we will keep on fighting. Thank you.
Right, questions and, yes, just checking. Have the bookmakers turned up yet? We'll keep waiting. If you do speak, if it helps, if you don't mind, just stand, say who you are, and then make your point or ask your question, please.
Is it on? Is it on?
So hold the thing to your chin.
Hi, my name's Tony Franklin. I'm a gambling addict for a whole life addiction to gambling in one shape or form. First thing I'd like to just say, it's a very emotional day for me actually. I'd like to say a very big thank you to Caroline Harris as the chair of the APPG. I went and met 38 Degrees who are working on a petition on this issue of gambling advertising and on the fixed odds betting terminals, and they gathered a petition for more than 100,000 people, which we presented to Tracy Couch. I met for the first time Pete and Sadie, who lost a loved one. He's not here today. You know, I'm privileged. I'm here today. I'm the lucky one. But through this campaigning, I have met so many people who have lost loved ones. And we're standing by and doing nothing. So I absolutely implore everybody in this room today to, thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. Talk to everybody about this issue. It's a travesty. It's an injustice. It causes misery, family breakup, debt, crime, homelessness. It's not the only issue out there, but it is a massive issue of greed. I do think that this country needs a conversation about gambling because it's become so normalised. You can go to your supermarket, for goodness sake, and on the shelf is a packet of Kellogg's, one of our biggest cereal manufacturers, Crave Choco Roulette. No, we just shouldn't have that on our breakfast table. So I don't want to diverse with respect. I just want to close off by saying that it's a no-brainer to reduce the stakes from £100 to £2 here today. And I very much hope that the government will take action as part of the gambling review coming out in spring and get this job done. Thank you.
this too shall pass, isn't it? It's one of the things they say. This too shall pass. That's the way I see things now, man. You know, this is gonna pass. Just like, you know, if you would have told me 2 months later, you'd be actively looking for a job. You know, you're not smoking anymore. You know, you'd be going to A meetings. You know, you'd be speaking to somebody about, you know, gambling, and she'd be like, "What? Like, what are you talking about?" You know what I mean? That's not gonna happen. But that's how quickly the game can change, just like that. I can't speak for other people, but I gained a sense of respect. You know, I think I gained a sense of respect for people, that whatever happens, I keep showing up, and I will keep showing up. You know, that's what I love about myself. I will not stop. I will not stop. I will not be defeated. I will not let this thing defeat me. I will always show up. Maybe not on time, but that's something I'm aiming for. But I will always show up.
I think today was a good day. I think today we're, well, you know, maybe a little bit, but we're a little bit further forward, a little bit further than we usual.
Yeah. I mean, you need action. There's something, you know, just to send
well, this is the snap back. Without this, we couldn't have it. I think we'll listen to it today. I think the difference is we've got people who are interested, people who do care. That's the thing.
I think we've all got some of this in our DNA, which makes us maybe not intimidating. But for me, it's knitting, right? Right, I get really excited by a roll of wool and a pattern. It's like, seriously, that's my, all week, it keeps me going. I go home knitting. I love knitting. But that's my addiction, if you like. That's my way, that's my get out of jail, that's my focus. If I've got a problem, I will knit my way out of it.
Another strong element about Gamblers Anonymous in particular is the community, is that unity aspect. You know, people are invested in you. Everyone is invested in everyone. You know, and that's so much more valuable than, you know, so what, I don't have anything, so what? You know, that's there's trust in my family, you know, the community I've got around me, you know, it's worth way more than, it's priceless. You know, and I know any situation, you know, I came out of gambling, I came out of addiction, and that's something, you know, that kills people, you know.
No, I think crucially as well, and this probably cuts right across the board with all addiction, is often you're likely to gamble at the low points, but also you're likely to gamble at the high points. Because you think, well, maybe not invincible, but I can deal with this now. I'm in a good place. I can do this safely now. You can't, you know. And that's the thing to watch out for. But you can't average your life. This idea of a golden mean, a life of no peaks or troughs, that's nothing to aspire to. So you've really got to nail this.
Nature abhors a vacuum. I think that's fundamentally it, you know. Either you fill it with people with love and connection, or you fill it with shit and addiction.
You can boil most problems people have in terms of clipped aspirations or ambitions or opportunities or decisions that they regret to people being bothered about what people thought about, you know. But there's a real liberation to be found in, well, I don't know the way of putting it, not really giving a fuck, to be honest. There really is, because I always thought that, well, with regards to this gambling lab, I don't really care what people think now, because it's over 5 years old for me, is this now? It's gone. It's the past. It really is old news as far as I'm concerned.
Someone said to me, I heard in the room one day, you get a lot of wisdoms in this room today. It said it's so true. It's like, if you want to do something, you find a way. If you don't, you find an excuse. That's why I can say, you know, it's great that you put it out there, because if people don't know, they don't know. You know, then they're just in complete sense of ignorance, because they have absolutely no idea. And I was like, I have no idea. You know, so like to get like a glimmer of light, you know, oh, it might be that, you know. So that's why things like this would be great, you know. If somebody saw that, showed it to their brother, sister, mother, father, you know, and they was there watching, you know, that'd be great. You know, but once you have that glimmer, you know, for me, it was my brother, for me, you know. I got a little glimmer, you know, there was something there. So once I got a couple of glimmers, you know, it was up to me, you know, that I wanted it, you know. It's a challenging thing, you know. If you want it, you do something about it. If you want it, you find a way. If you don't, you won't. Want it, find a way. If you don't, you won't. If you
you want it, you find a way. And if you don't, you won't. If you want it, you'll find a way. And if you don't, you won't.
Place your bets, please. No more bets. No more bets.